And welcome back to the Hot Lab. And today we're asking why all the Lando hate. So he was very much like in 2019. He was the darling from 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and pretty much 2023, where it may have begun. More on that a bit later. But now, loads of people are absolutely disliking Lando. And I'm not entirely sure why. I've got a few ideas, but the amount of vitriol towards this guy is absolutely unfair. Joker, he bottles it. We have accused him of bottling it, but that's no reason to give him the absolute disdain that, I mean, some other people have. You'd think he's a backmarker, the amount of shade thrown at this guy. So let's get into it. So it's stuff like this that suggests that Lando Norris, I mean, this person here, this is albeit in September this year, I don't understand all the sudden hate towards Lando Norris. Can someone explain? He just seems like a genuinely nice guy, and most of the time he is. However, there are a few things where he probably did himself in, so to speak. We'll get into that in a bit, but when we just look at his stats here, okay. I mean, as we know, he hasn't won a championship, but he's been in Formula 1 for, 6 years now. He's got 3 wins for 125 races, 25 podiums for 125, so 1/5 of his races. Is that right? I think 1/5 of podiums. I don't know how good my maths is. 8 pole positions. He is 10 fastest laps. He has finished first. He's 12 retirements, and he's accrued 964 points. His best championship position, it currently is second, likely potentially to finish there over his 125 entries. Now, here is an interesting stat. He has 3 wins, 2 of them from pole position. And also, when we get to Formula 2, he didn't do too bad leading up. I've always said, yes, George Russell is the guy that beat him. Fair and square. Okay, 287 points, as you can see here, to 219. Okay, and Lando Norris, he started off, I think, with a win, and he sort of kept-ish in sight of George Russell, but then look at the people who he was against. George Russell, Lando Norris finished second, and Alexander Albon, who is thought of as a legend at this time, finishing third. Well, you had a few other quite accomplished drivers, but those 3, I mean, and Nick de Vries in 4th. Let's be honest, not a bad quartet for your top 4 in Formula 2. Let's go forward then to the 2024 stats where, well, he's beating Austria Piastri, isn't he? In McLaren racing, in the racing and in qualifying, 14-7, 17-4. He's currently in second, 3 wins out of 21, which I think is better than any other driver other than Max. I don't think Leclerc got 3 wins. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that one, but yeah, I don't think anyone's got more than 3 wins other than Max. 7 out of 21 pole positions. That's good. There is a but with that stat. Yes, you probably know it's coming. 12 podiums out of 21. So that's just over half the races. 20 points as well. Points finishing positions out of 21 races. So his win percentage is 14.29%. I won't get into stats too much. Podium is 57, so over half the races, as you've seen, he's finished in a podium. His longest podium streak is 3 races. His highest result is first, his lowest result is 20th. His average result is 4.1, which is not too bad. Now the issue is, I mean, as we know, he's got 7 pole positions, but he's only won from 2 of them. And I think only once, that was in Singapore, has he led on that first lap. So yeah, there are criticisms that we can most certainly give to Lando Norris. But is that the reason why people dislike him so much? I'll have some kind of conclusion at the end. But here we go. This is interesting. And this is a suggestion. This is from TikTok. I've linked all the videos in the description. This is what happened in the cool-down room in Hungary 2024 when Lando Norris nearly won, but didn't, and had to give the race win away to Oscar Piastri. Granted, he's going to be a bit emotional. He probably thinks, I should have won that race. But he did the team game, unlike a certain Max Verstappen in Brazil, when his title was not at risk. But we're not, but I'm not gonna. I mean, this is not here. This is not a Lando Max comparison video. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's see what happens.
You guys are fast. You had a fast car 7 years ago.
So he said, "You guys are fast," and then Lando literally comes back, saying, "You had a fast car." I mean, come on.
You had a fast car 7 years ago.
You had a fast car 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
That's a long time.
You had a quick car. You made the most of it.
You had a quick car, you made the most of it, and now it's us.
Complimenting me at your car.
And then for Lewis, I don't know whether it hits him throwing shade. He's like, "I'm just complimenting your car." But why? Why did Lando feel the need? Why did Lando feel the need to do that? It was almost petulance. It was almost teenagery. "How you guys are fast." He's just saying you guys are fast. He said you had a fast car 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah. And you had 7 years ago. You know you had a quick car. You made the most of it. And now it's us. Yeah, I mean that was a bit embarrassing. Maybe that comment's going to come back to haunt him. He didn't. He didn't. Obviously, he's not very unlikely to win this year's championship, despite what many people say, having the fastest car. Then let's reverse even further, where I think maybe the initial dislikes began, and it was in Hungary when he broke the
to the smash, but he lost his bottle.
There
That was a
you see it
pun
here.
for all those people out there who like a bit of satire. Let's watch it again. Let's remind ourselves.
There we go. Okay, he breaks it. But the issue I have is the issue wasn't the breaking it, because as we know, accidents happen. It was in the interview where I mean, I think this was F1 Kids, wasn't it, or something? But they interview him, and then he's a bit, We'll look at it, and then we'll make our mind up.
Done something.
What have I done?
What did you do with the trophy? The most important part.
Look, that's Max's. Mine's in perfect
But
shape.
what happened to his
Max's.
trophy?
Oh, I don't care.
What happened to it? Everyone
broken.
needs to know.
He said, "I don't care. It's broken." I mean, maybe is he trying to come across as funny? Let's carry on.
And who broke it?
I did.
How did you break it?
Happily.
That is terrible. He broke
Happily. I mean, we know he's joking. I guess there's a time and a place.
his trophy on purpose.
yeah.
That is terrible.
It wasn't
You
on
just wanted
purpose.
to be first that badly.
I do, yeah. I was annoyed off P2.
I mean, okay, now we're getting into the sort of sarcastic, fair enough.
I just, that's my celebrations to hit the bottle. Max put his trophy in the wrong place.
It's Max's fault then, isn't
Max's
it?
fault.
When he comes round, I'll have a word.
I've already
with
told him it's his
I'll have a
fault.
word.
You said it was my fault.
She blamed you, it wasn't me.
I gave you a yellow card.
You said it was his fault.
Red card.
You said it was his fault.
That was you.
It was me.
Yeah.
You can have the final vote. I think I should.
I mean, that is all tongue-in-cheek, in jest, I get it. Yeah, ha ha ha. But at no point at this point has he really said sorry, does he, at
Get
all?
the
I
trophy. I'll
just
have
said
the
here as
shards
well
of
that
glass.
we'll just go to Zach because apparently he has a bit of spare money still for the personnel, in the team. So
Yeah.
I guess he can also spend it on the trophy.
It's getting close.
Wow. All right. Just because you got the quickest car, mate. Relax.
I think he just secretly just wanted to steal it.
Well, yeah.
If I can't get it, you break it.
I mean, he's making laugh. But once again, we're 1.5 minutes in. At no point, unless he's done it before, did he kind of apologise. I think a lot of people said they didn't like the way Lando Norris reacted to that. And I kind of agree there, in terms of probably should apologise and then maybe did the jokes and then, I'm going to pay for a new one or whatever. It was almost borderline entitled. It was almost borderline entitled territory for Lando Norris. At least I feel that. At least I thought that it was. So, I mean, here's the Reddit, and this is 4 months ago. Why is everyone suddenly hating on Lando Norris and his fans? I'm new to F1. I've started as a Lando fan. I've liked Lando since his first win of the season. There have been a big gain for Lando. Lots of people like Lando in Miami, which I think is very deserved. But suddenly everyone is so mean towards Lando Norris or his fans, which I think is odd. After Silverstone, looking through comments on YouTube and Instagram, all the comments seem to be bashing Lando, being ungrateful for his interview, for the interview after the race. After his first win, I feel like Lando probably gained more pressure than ever going into any race. So I feel that is the reason he seems quite, unquote, moody. I think he does. He doesn't seem as joyful as he was the previous year. Yes, he was P3, still a great result. Yes, he's allowed to be annoyed. He thought he was going to win the race. I think you're allowed to be annoyed, and people like that, don't they? I mean, here, I don't understand why all the hate towards Lando, but same thing happened to Hamilton when he got good. Hate or not hate, I think he is very fast. He's not stable psychologically as he should be at his same level. Every time a driver performs, we all get hate. Yeah. Keeps things interesting. I guess plenty of drivers throw their toys out the pram. I don't think Lando's thrown his toys out the pram. Not in the way that Max has and some other drivers. But envious Verstappen fans, I don't think so. Lando beat an overrated driver a lot of people thought would school him in the art of racing. He did this over 2 seasons. I think he's talking about Daniel Ricciardo, and these people slated Lando. I don't think that's quite true. Easy. Not even halfway through the season, British media push hard to blame for Piastri and Norris. Bad results despite the best car. McLaren, this is the other thing that I'd like to talk about Lando Norris. Everyone says, he's got the best car, he's got the best car. Yeah, he's got the best car. Okay. Looking back at his stats here. There we go. So, in Bahrain, didn't have the best car, he finished 7th. Saudi didn't have the best car, he finished 6th. And let's be honest, that McLaren wasn't even the second best car. Australia finished 3rd. Still arguably not the second best car at this point. Japan 3rd. China 4th. Miami on the grid, this is the grid, 5th. Okay, qualifying time. And okay, so points. I'm talking absolute rubbish, just ignore that. So that's that these are on the grid. And then we've got his finishing positions. So let's have a look then. In Bahrain, he qualified 7th, he finishes qualifying time, position delta points 8. Doesn't say what position he got. What kind of stats are this? Saudi Arabia qualifying 6th, he qualified 6th. It was 0.6 down. And it arguably didn't have the far. Even in Miami, he qualified 5th, and he won. He got the full 25 points, which was his race win. At that point, the Red Bull, I'd still have an argument that in Miami the Red Bull was the faster car, and that's 6 races in. Emilia Romagna, he ends up finishing 2nd. He did qualify 2nd. I say Max Verstappen did amazing in that race. A lot of people said Max Verstappen outraced the car. Now here's the thing: it's very difficult with Red Bull to see how good that car is, because the barometer is obviously going to be the other driver as well. Now with Piastri, I think McLaren is now one of the best. Throughout the second half of the season, has definitely been one of the best cars. In the first half, I don't think so much. And with Perez being absolutely terrible, it's difficult to say how good that Red Bull is. We think it at one point it was the fastest. Is it the 3rd or 4th fastest? We don't know, because even when you look at the most recent race in Brazil, Max, fantastic job from 17th. But when you're looking in the sprint, in terms of in the race, that was a fast car, if not the fastest car. And then he won there. In Spain, when we go to Canada, who was 3rd on the grid, probably should have won, but that was Max. Was it a Max masterclass in the wet? Maybe. But I think McLaren basically made the wrong call on that rather than Lando. Now, whether it's because Lando should have the cojones to say no McLaren on the pit wall, which he did do at Silverstone, funnily enough, but then he finished 3rd when he wanted the soft tyres and he should have gone for the medium. Austria, he was on, let's be fair, the Austrian Grand Prix, he was on par to win that, and he didn't, did he? So, the British Grand Prix, could have won that, he finished 3rd. Hungary, he could have won that, he finished 2nd, behind Piastri. In Belgium, probably should have won that, had a bad start, and then got bolted at the first corner, and it was a Mercedes masterclass from there. Dutch Grand Prix, did win that, should have won it, against in Max Verstappen country, the track where he has been so dominant before in 21, 22, 23, winning it. He didn't, did he? Italy should have won it thanks to Piastri and McLaren. There were no team orders. He kind of did a whoopsie there. The point I'm making is, when you look at the first 10 races, I think Max had the fastest car, or equal to the fastest car. The next 10, the next half of the season, yes, McLaren may have had the fastest car most of the time, but the field was a lot tighter in the last 10 races than it was the first 10, where Red Bull were almost running away and being fairly comfortable most races. And the second half, that's the second 10 races, say for example from Austria onwards, you're looking at McLaren are up there, but then at times you had Mercedes, you had Ferrari being fast as well as Red Bull. So there was more competition for Lando Norris, unlike Max Verstappen in those first 10 races, which is why I think Lando's doing a much better job than a lot of people give him credit for. Does he deserve to win the title? Probably not, because he's made too many mistakes. But if he goes back, he works on himself, he is kind of like what? If Max is at 100%, I'd say he's 95, and he can work on that 5% over the winter, and I think be very much a match for Max Verstappen, assuming that McLaren and Red Bull are fairly close and they both provide good cars. He is a much better driver than I think a lot of people have been giving him credit for this year. Does he deserve the hate? No. Does he deserve a bit of criticism? Absolutely. For losing at the first corner so many times? Yes, he does. For being a bit too gentle with Max Verstappen, for example, in America? Yes, he does. Had he not been so nice to Max in America, probably he wouldn't have got that penalty, because he would have been ahead of Max. But he knows that himself. I don't think he needs anyone to tell him or gall on him. So Lando Norris, we stand with you. Yes, you are probably going to finish. You are more, realistically going to finish second in that World Championship this year. But I think you're very much on track to become a potential world champion. If you like what you see, please give us a subscribe. That would be lovely. And we will speak to you soon. Hit that like, hit that notification button to not miss a video and become a multiple world champion in our eyes. Thank you. And stay safe.